with a guy, we hadn't had a guy like a running back like you in a while. The guy with your size, your skills. Now, the tendency when you're that big is to run over people.
Right.
So have you working on just like get a little quicker, get a little faster, like you said, a little more finesse?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I'm a lot faster than people give me credit for. You ask some of the players on the team, there's a few that'll beat me in a race, I feel like, but I think I'm faster than most people on our team. I would say like I'm probably like top 15, top 10 at least. I know, shit, I'm not super fast, but I'm not no slow guy.
The thought of you going to the second level at full speed, headed toward a defensive back or something like that, that can't be a good thing for the guy about to tackle you, right?
Yeah. I'm not. See, I try not to go down on the first contact. That's my mindset, and I feel like that's every running back's in the room mindset. We don't get tackled by the first person. We expect to score every time we get the ball, really.
All right, Jose, what you got?
Sure. Hey, Markese. So a couple questions for you. First question, who do you pattern your game off of? Is there a running back you grew up watching or maybe someone currently in the NFL or college football? Can you share that?
Yeah. Who I watched the most growing up was Adrian Peterson, easily. That's my favorite. He's just he's very tenacious, running with the attitude. I've never seen one person tackle him, honestly. Currently, who I want to be like, who I strive to get more like, is Saquon Barkley. He literally, I think he's the definition of a running back in today's world. He's like 6 foot, 235, 240, runs a 4.42. Super agile, can come out the backfield, catch, can run over you, can juke you, and I think he epitomizes what all around, all-purpose back is. You can't stop that. No matter who you are, it's a creative player, no matter. You can't stop that. So that's
very much so. He's like a master of all trades. As the saying goes, do you want to be a jack of all trades, master of one? He's like a master of everything, dude.
Yeah,
he's
a master of everything. Yeah. So
every time he touched the ball in that Rose Bowl against Penn State, I was breathless every time he touched it. What's this guy going to do to us now?
And see, it was crazy because nobody knew him outside on this side of the country, and barely nobody knew him when I was on. I feel like maybe I was because I watched Saquon his freshman year of college, and I remember going up to Penn State, and this was when nobody knew about him. I'm just like, holy shit, bro! I'm like, nobody knows about this dude yet, and it's just crazy to watch him in person. And, just being able to meet him and stuff, and just the way he worked in practice, not taking anything off, and just going hard every play, every snap. And then I'm not surprised by the success that he has had and that he will continue to have.
Nice.
Second question for you. Current college football players now, I know your schedule is tough from going to class and, football schedule, so on and so forth. When you get a chance to watch a game, is there anyone in particular that you like to watch, like current college football player?
Yeah. Travis Etienne from Clemson. Arguably one of the best backs in the country. And kind of like Saquon, he can do it all. He's fast. It seems like there's nothing on the field he can't do. And, I think he's a great running back. Najee Harris is a great running back. And those dudes just, can do it all. And there's nothing in their game where you're like, he can't do this, he can't do that. On Saturday, you turn on their games, they're making a play every day.
Mm-hmm.
Way cool.
Right. Rolling in the tie. Go ahead, man.
Hey, Markese, for this coming season, what are your goals for yourself on and off the field?
Just to be a better player overall. Just to go as hard as I can, and just wherever I end up. I just plan to, every time I get the ball, is make a play, make something happen with the opportunities I have, and just ball out. and just become a better person and all that. Just be a well-rounded better person on and off the field.
I like that. I like that a lot. And then my second question for you, is there a specific game you look forward to every year since you've been at USC? I know I sent you the message. I said, i.e. the Domers, because that's back home for you. So is there a game that you look forward to every year?
I'm like, yeah, besides Notre Dame,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't really, for me, all the other games, I'm like, I look forward to every game because that's every opportunity to get better and to, show what you can do for NFL scouts and stuff. But if I had to choose one game that my favorite game would have to be, Notre Dame. This year, it would probably be Alabama. They're great competition, one of the best teams in college football every year. And I can't wait to play them. And, I'm excited to play them. That's going to be one heck of a game. People are doubting us, but I don't think people know what we got in the arsenal returning is. And, people want to say this and that, but they'll see. I think they'll see week one.
Hey, just so you know, I got us winning the game. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man. I'm gonna roll into some of my questions, man. So I really respect the schematics of the game. I just want to know, if you had it your way, if you could call the shots, would you prefer zone scheme runs or power scheme runs?
Shoot. To me, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For me, like it all feels the same. If that makes sense. Like it doesn't matter if it's power or inside zone, outside zone. Either way, you still got to get the job done. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's football. I've been playing football since I was 4 years old, and I'm like, at this point, it's just where people start to mess up is overcomplicating things and stuff. And for me, in my head, I try to make it as simple as possible because the more simple, the easier it is. And so, I just go out there and have fun and play what I've been doing since I was 4 years old, 16 years.
I gotta tell you, I rewatched the Notre Dame game actually, a few days ago when I found out we were going to be talking to you, and I gotta tell you, I was impressed by what you were able to do on a few outside zone runs. You seen the hole and immediately got north-south, but at the same time, your lateral movement was still elite for your size. It's really impressive.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
My next question is, when you watch your own tape, when you watch yourself, what are some things that you say, if I can get better at this, or if I can add this to my game, I'd be unstoppable? Which, I mean, you kind of already are unstoppable, but what are some things?
Yeah. Well, everybody talks about that Notre Dame game, and I look at the game and I see like, man, there's a lot of things that I could have done a lot better, a lot better. And I'm gonna start off with pass blocking. That's something I could definitely get better, getting my technique down, using my hips better. And then also there was a run that I think my first carry in Notre Dame, it was like kind of up the middle. I broke loose and I let one guy tackle me, and that should never happen.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It was like a safety, right?
Yeah, safety. And that I felt like I made the move too early instead of pressing his toes and making the move. I made it like 5 yards ahead, which was a dumb decision. I really could have just stiffed armed him or ran his ass over instead of trying to cut or whatever. Or I could have just in this off season, that's one thing I've been really trying to work on is just my cuts and stuff like that. Getting that 1 foot in the ground and just making a guy miss. That should have been a touchdown, and I'm still pissed about that because God, it still makes me mad to this day when I go back and watch that game.
That reminds last year they were talking about Michael Pittman. He had a drop ball against UCLA his freshman year, and that was his motivation for the rest of his career at USC. Sounds like that's going to be your motivation. You just missed out one play just by a little bit, but that's the one that's going to gnaw at you and motivate you, right?
Yeah, I always think about it. And then there's times where I kind of get greedy and try to get to the hole instead of, and like sometimes it closes up before you get there. It's open and then it closes up. So one thing is kind of seeking the linebackers and bouncing it outside, like bouncing it to another hole or something like that. And so I can get better at that. And then of course, route running. I mean, like people think I can't catch, but I can. And it's just kind of, and just because I'm big, but I could get better at route running. for sure. And that's one thing I've been working on too.
Nice. Hey, Irv, over to you, man.
Oh, Mark stole one of my questions, so now I just got one question. It was what you feel like you can improve on. But my second question would be, how was that live moment with Reggie Bush out of that field before the ref came over and pushed you out the way?
You know, it's crazy because like growing up, being a Notre Dame fan and all that stuff, you never I'm kind of hated USC a little bit, you know. And you watch Reggie Bush, and you always respect his game. And then to be in that situation, and I didn't realize it during the moment, but after I was like, damn, that's really Reggie Bush. That's one of the greatest college football players, if not the greatest college football player ever. And it was just, I don't know. I think about it kind of today, and it's just I'm really I really shook hands with Reggie Bush. And I wonder who has that game ball, because I threw him the ball, and then I heard he threw it up into the stands. So whoever got that ball, I kind of wanted to pack it out.
It's probably an eBay, man.
Yeah, somewhere.
Pac-12 refs stop hating.
And then it was funny because one of the equipment managers came over. He said when he went to go look for get the ball from Reggie Bush, he just kind of stared at him with his hands open. It was just he was starstruck basically. And then he said Reggie Bush just turned around and threw it into the stand.
Oh man.
Nice. We got some questions from our page. One of them is would you still have gone to USC if they had the air raid when you signed?
Yeah, probably. I mean I think it would help me in my game, you know. And the air raid doesn't necessarily mean passing the ball. It's more of a concept. I feel if anything, it helps running backs, because with our receiving core, you can't really load the box. You know what I'm saying? So so it's hard. They got to pick their poison. And with our running back core, shoot, you got to pick up one or the other. So I think I still would have went to USC if it was the air raid.
Nice.
There's another question from the site. Is there anybody that you're on the team that you're pretty tight with, that you hang out regularly? Is your roommate maybe?
My roommate is Spencer Gilbert. That's one of my best friends. His mom is actually the head track coach at USC.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll try to get some work in with her, Coach Carroll. But other than him, probably Amara is my other best friend on the team. Mm-hmm. We're really close. I feel like me and him are probably more similar. I relate to him more than probably anybody. Just our personalities are kind of similar and stuff.
Nice. And then my last question for you is what is the running back room like? Is it pretty competitive?
Yeah, it is pretty competitive. Everybody has their everything that they're good at. You know, you're at USC, the running back room is going to be competitive. And I feel like if any of us were to leave and go anywhere else, we'd probably be the guy at any other school. And so, you know, it is competitive, but at the end of the day, the best guy will play.
Right. Thank you.
Seems to be a lot of balance in that room. Kenyon Christian's fast.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're a load to bring down. Like I said, thinking about you in the second level is almost scary if you get full speed. I think Stephen Carr, for whatever, I know he's had some injuries, but have you talked to him? Have you heard how he's doing? Is he ready? He's 100%.
Oh yeah, Stephen's gonna be ready. He's a great player. Stephen, his cutting ability is almost insane. Yeah. I watch his film, and his ability to make people miss is very special. I mean, he can really just run directly at you and just stop on a dime, and it's insane because he makes people look crazy out there on the field. And Steven's gonna be a great player. He has a great future, and that's big, bro. Steven's great.
Well, next year they're both graduating, right? I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's you're gonna be elder statesman, oldest guy next year, right? You can be ready.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna be ready for sure.
All right, man. We ain't gonna hold you up for too much long. Thanks for coming to talk to us. Really appreciate it. Hey, good luck on a big season. I think you guys are gonna have a huge year. I think that's the consensus with everybody. We think it's gonna be a great time to be a Trojan.
Yes, sir. It is for sure. We're
Yeah,
gonna be
we're all,
Let Graham know that we LOT think you need to be the FIFA back.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Y'all can tell him that I ain't gonna say it.
I'll tell you this: we're definitely, some of your biggest fans are right here on this Zoom meeting right now. We all think we all think you're primed for a huge season. You personally is what we're really looking forward to.
Thank you. I like that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time, Markese, and I'll shoot you an email, man.
Yes, sir. Fight on.
Thanks,
Right
John.
Don.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Rolling into quarterbacks, running backs.
You want to keep going with running backs since we just had one on right now? We'll jump on the quarterbacks after.
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going running backs.
The quarterback is a hot news ticket right now, though.
Yeah, we'll save that one for last. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the running backs. I'm with Terry, like you said. I wholly believe that Markese definitely can be a feature back at USC. I know we like to share the ball at this point with all the talent we have in that room, but I personally feel like he should be the one getting majority of those carries, just for the simple fact, as he stated, like, you have all those receivers out there. The defense is probably going to be in a position where they're going to have to try to cover him in a nickel of some sort, maybe in a dime, and those holes are going to be wide open. And he has the ability to break into the secondary when those holes open up. And as we've seen, he can break those tackles and keep the yardage going. He's the type of running back that follows forward.
Yeah,
and we saw that last year, and I think that's going to be huge because that'll create a shorter down and distance for us. Second and 9 or whatever, and he gets the rock. Now we're looking at 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, with so many options to do with the ball.
Let me ask you guys.
I like him from the standpoint of kind of what we talked about last week. When you have some questions up front, you can either use a mobile quarterback or a downhill runner to equalize things and show up for other things. And he definitely could close up some questions that we got on the offensive line. He's going to make one, maybe two miss every play. And that's the type of person where you go, hey, I'm weak on the right side, but I know I'm gonna get 3 yards no matter what. Those are dudes where he changes the thing because a lot of our other guys, if they get hit in the backfield, they're done. It's a 3-yard loss.
Yeah, 100%.
Just a quick question, probably more for you played running back, right, Mark? If I recall.
Yes.
Now, at a certain point, if you watch the way Markese runs, he gets hit and he's moving forward. Sometimes they can't bring him down and he's still standing. At what point do you sit there and say, hey, you just got to go down, or do you just keep absorbing punishment while guys keep hitting you and trying to bring you down? At what point do you teach them to get down and not take that punishment? Or you just let them keep pushing forward until they bring him down?
So for him, he's an alien. You tell him to put 2 hands on the ball and carry the whole team if he can. For
which he has.
Yeah.
We see
everybody.
That.
For everybody else, for Keenan, Christian, and those guys, you tell them to, you teach them how to take contact, teach them how to fall, all those things. Don't take unnecessary damage. But Markese Stepp is doing more punish than he's getting punished. Trust me.
Yeah. He hits. He doesn't get hit.
Yeah.
I really like our current situation in the running back room. Obviously, Markese being one of our favorites, but I like Vave and what he's done at USC the last couple of years with just seem like a blue collar type of worker. Ever since he's had the opportunity to hit the field, he does his job. He gets the ball, he makes pass blocks. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but every time he runs the ball and gets tackled, he jumps up immediately. Like it was the greatest thing that ever happened was running with the rock at USC, and even if it's for 2 or 3 yards, and that excites me. That gets me going and lets me know that he really has a true passion for playing football and obviously playing for USC as well.
He doesn't go down to first contact either. I mean,
No.
he bounces and he keeps fighting. His legs are always moving.
Hard runner.
Hard runner, and I think he's really good at catching the ball out of the backfield as well, as we saw last year.
Yes.
So to have 2 big backs like that have pretty good speed as well, that's going to be a deadly combination for us. And then, we add in Keenan with his, super speed. Sky's the limit, I think. But it's not a bad problem to have. But at the same time, it's like, man, the Rock can only go so many places with all the running backs that we have, plus all the dynamic receivers we have on that roster. It's just, I'm just glad I'm not the O coordinator right now.
Or maybe if you want to be. I mean, look how many weapons you got. You pick and choose, man. And you can't cover everybody.
True.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my biggest key is going to be health because, when Steven, Markese, and when Carr, Markese, and Levi went down against Oregon, that pretty much took us out the game. We started off hot. Keenan slowed down a bit, and we had to bring on the walk on. Our offense became predictable, and it just took off from there. That game reminds me of the Texas game. We started off with all the momentum in the world, and then it just went all the way downhill. So we do have potentially a 4-headed monster at running back. I think if I had to rank them, I would do Markese 1, 5, 2, Carr 3, and Keenan 4. But that's because Keenan is a redshirt sophomore because he got to get stronger and be able to take the college. You got to take the reins of the college and get hit because you can tell he's super fast, but he clearly wasn't ready to play last year. He was a redshirt candidate, but he was forced out there due to injuries at the running back position. So hopefully we just have a lot healthier year and we don't get decimated with 3 injuries to our top backs.
So what I want to see from my point of view is I want to see us do a better job of scheming our running backs to be able to get to the second level. I want to see more downhill running. And a lot of people don't think that you can downhill run from the shotgun set, but it's perfectly doable. 90% of my runs that I caught last season were downhill runs. I ran power. I ran a little bit of trap, but if you guys go back and look at us versus Arizona, right? Big number 71 pulled and demolished somebody. And Keenan Christian just the hole was the size of a Mack truck. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see outside zone. I don't want to see you ran 5 yards to the right looking for a hole and then you cut it up. Nah, I want you to run straight ahead. Let's run 11 personnel with an H-back, wham that outside backer, kick out the end, and let's go.
Power.
We've said this tons of times when we watch games and we chat in the admin chat. When we get cute is when we lose yardage in the run game. When we run straight ahead, stop watching what Texas Tech does in the run game back in the day and watch what Ohio State does out of the shotgun, how they run down your throat, run downhill.
In Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to go about it. When I look at Markese, this guy brought nightmares to me in my teenage years, them to bring up, but he's Jerome Bettis. The way he runs the ball, if he can prove to people, which I'm sure he can, that he can catch, he just has to be given the opportunity. That's his body type exactly in college. Terry and Ty, I know we're folks that were of able mind and able to watch TV. Say code for we were older. And watch TV in the 90s, watching Tony Brooks and Jerome Bettis give us nightmares, and that's who he is, man, fully.
Yeah, all my Jerome Bettis highlights are from the NFL, the Steelers.
yeah. That back then, Jerome wasn't as big as he was at Notre Dame. When he got in the NFL, he became like a double wide bus. He just went from a regular school bus to a double wide really quick. So it'll be interesting, but that's who he reminds me of a ton. And if we can give Notre Dame some of the nightmares they gave us during the mid-'90s with Jerome Bettis, with Stepp being that for us, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking Jerome Bettis too before he came on. Like, that's the one guy that I'm thinking that he's going to be. And I didn't want to bring it up. I mean, because you don't want to, kind of create like a stereotype, but that's exactly what he reminds me of. And I remember watching it. Jerome Bettis just kicking our ass.
Oh yeah, it was nuts.
The kid that just got drafted from Boston College, A.J. Dillon, the Green Bay Packers. If you watch them this season in the NFL, Green Bay, you will see a lot of Markese Stepp.
Oh yeah.
That guy's 6'1", 245 and runs a 4.40.
Yeah, that guy's built like a linebacker. It's nuts.
That's trouble. I call that trouble right there.
That is a DB's worst nightmare.
Rolling over to QBs. So we have.
You thought it'd be a short discussion.
We have.
I was gonna say that we didn't talk about Carr, but
we got Keaton Slovis. Yeah.
We still have Matt Fink, and then we have the graduate transfer, Mo Hassan, 6'3", 205 from Miami, Florida. Was at Vanderbilt for 3 years. Looking at his statistics, as a junior, he only played in one game, but he started that game, and they beat Missouri when they were ranked 21 at the time. And his first career touchdown was for 61 yards in that game. So I don't know much about Vanderbilt's offense. Mark, do you know anything about their offense?
Run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Run the ball, take time off the clock. Try not to get routed by 40 in the SEC.
Yeah. That makes sense. In that game, he was 7 for 11, 120 yards and a touchdown. So you're right. It sounds like they probably either were cautious with him or they ran the ball a lot.
They had an NFL back in Keyshawn Vaughn. They had an NFL back, so and he's pretty good.
Is Derrick Mason still there, or did he get fired yet? Still there?
I think he.
I don't remember.
I think they kept him. I think there was rumors.
Yeah.
And I think they end up keeping him.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up on the good old handy dandy Google right now. See if he's still there. He's still there. Yeah, I remember when we were thinking that there was to be a DC change, which there eventually was, that he would have been the perfect candidate for it. But good for him that he's still employed over at Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
I'm surprised at his lack of success. I thought he was going to be a good coach. I'm really, really surprised.
It's tough to win at
Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
it's a hard place to win. It really is.
It's harder to recruit there than Stanford too, especially in the SEC. So yeah, that's not a win-win situation.
You're at an academic school in SEC country. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, people were going crazy when James Franklin won 6 and 7 games consecutively over at Vanderbilt. That's a hell of a job.
Yeah.
That's what got him paid at Penn State.
Yep.
I think he went 9-3 or 10-2.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
He had that big bowl win too.
So let's talk about. Oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
One thing I can say though, with the quarterback situation, I have faith. I have a lot of faith in Graham Harrell from the things I've read about how he works with his quarterbacks, how he's a tactician for the fundamentals, starting from the ground up. I think that he can improve people to what their ceiling would higher than what it would normally be. So, with the two guys we got on the roster, God forbid they ever have to come in a game, I think they would be able to suffice. They would be able to hold up a little bit, kind of like what we did against Utah and somewhat against Washington. But everybody knows the obvious answer is Keaton Slovis, get rid of the damn ball.
Keaton. So, yeah, that'll lead me into hopefully Keaton stays healthy, because watching that Washington game, that gave me nightmares. He went from savior at Utah to almost having what was that one dude, Aaron Corp? He had like an Aaron Corp type game against Washington.
He did.
Oh,
That he did. That was bad.
those two games happened at the same place, so that was pretty terrible. The elephant in the room is our boy, 5-star, homegrown, all-world JT Daniels has left Trojan land to the green pastures in the SEC. I wish the kid
Cali
good luck.
ball.
Yeah, stay healthy. Hopefully, he balls out at Georgia and loses
Man.
to SC in the playoffs or a national championship.
Kirby Smart over recruiting again.
Yeah,
He's-
over-recruiting.
It's gonna come back to bite him. He's got 5 quarterbacks on his roster right now. 3 or 4 5-stars.
Yeah, and one of them that they just signed is rumors.
Yeah, they got a true freshman 5-star.
That he might
Watch
be,
out for him in the transfer portal.
Yeah, he might be looking elsewhere due to that news. Big
Yes,
game
man, I
hunt
wanna-
is always not good.
Because I would expect JT to get granted another year of eligibility, and probably be at Georgia for longer than 1 year.
Yeah.
So that new kid, he's gonna bounce. So, and then you got the other transfer.
From Wake Forest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Newman, he's one and done though. He's really high on a lot of scouts' boards right now. A lot of mock drafts at the moment has him going in top 10 or top 15.
So
if he can back that up with a strong 60.
If all these guys came to Georgia because they didn't want to sit the bench, well, what happens when one of them does have to sit the bench?
Well, 3 or 4 of them are gonna have to the bench.
He's gone.
Oh,
Yeah, but
happened
Newman
last
has
time
to.
with Fromm.
Yeah, Newman has
Happened 2 years ago. I mean, when Fromm got the starter, I mean, both Easton and Fields both left, right? They're gonna have the same situation again.
Yep.
Fields, some off the field stuff contributed to him leaving too as well. So we want to get into all that, but we know the story behind that. Another thing. Oh, go ahead, Ty.
I was gonna say, I'm really happy for JT Daniels, man. He was through and through a USC Trojan. He got that stamped on his leg too, so he's gonna have that forever, unless he gets a big old bulldog over it. But I really do wish him a lot of success. I know a lot of fans they like to go out there and they're like, oh, he's afraid to compete, yada yada. That's not the case here. Sometimes you're in a position where you gotta just look after yourself and you know that there's something better for you outside of the university. I mean, he's a 5-star kid. He played at a 5-star level. Yeah. So, he's doing what's best for him. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to look out for yourself. And that's fine. I mean, if USC fans are truly paying attention, they'll see that they're already starting to, throw some pebbles in the creek there, letting them know that they're going to probably start pushing Keaton for the Heisman position. And if you're already going to do that, then, JT already knows, hey, this is going to be the guy. And to be honest, I don't even know if he's fully healed yet. So he's already going to be behind the curve trying to get in there with the offense and do what he has to do to better himself. So I think personally that he probably knows that he's not going to get a waiver to be able to play right away. But he knows next year that, he'll be leading Georgia in the SEC, and King Keaton will still be on his junior year at USC. So for me, my dream would be to meet Georgia in the playoffs and have a showdown with those guys, and that would be awesome to see them go up against each other.
So
I think people have a tendency to judge JT off of that 1 year when he was starting, and that's really not fair. I mean, we all criticized the offensive, structure back then. So I don't think anybody would have succeeded or done any better than what he did, under those circumstances, right?
And he had some great moments as a freshman. A couple of them throws made you go, woo. Put that
a lot of good first halves is what it was his freshman year, and I don't know what happened the second half, but every game he seemed like the first half he was just on fire, and then second half it all petered out.
Adjustments, elite coaching, Division I football, elite coaching. One thing I was gonna say, so quarterback is pretty established. Some things I'd like to talk about are the intangibles that Keaton Slovis has and what makes him so good. Because I see a lot of fans and they talk about Keaton Slovis and they're kind of missing some things. Totally missing some things. If you go on YouTube and you watch some games, or you go on Pac-12 Network, watch some replays of some games, watch his feet when he throws the ball. Watch what direction that they're pointing at all times. Watch how his hips are involved in every throw. He starts damn near perfect from the ground up. and then watch the ball when it comes off of his hand. When he wants to sling it, man, it's Aaron Rodgers like.
Beautiful.
That throw, that post, or like we like to call it a bang eight, that skinny post he threw to Amon-Ra against Arizona State was one of the greatest throws I've ever seen. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. The thing that sticks out for me for JT and watching all the film, even, you know, when he has bad games, is his footwork is so elite. His feet are never just, you know, set until he has to throw the ball. He's always moving his feet. And his pocket awareness also is impeccable for a freshman.
Brady, like,
I mean, he he always knew when the pocket was closing, and he was always finding a way to escape the pocket and eyes downfield and find a receiver that was open, or at least give a receiver an opportunity to make a play. Let the athlete make the play, put the ball in the position in the air where the guy can go up and get it. But his footwork, and additionally, he is not afraid to get hit while stepping into the pocket to make a throw. I saw a couple hits that he took last year where you could see the defense and the offense and the play developing, and you could see the D lineman getting ready to just take him out, and he will step right into the throw still, as you said, with his feet pointing in the correct direction, his hips going into it, and his eyes downfield, and he just gets the ball off, and then boom, takes the hit and gets right back up. I mean, you just don't see that from freshmen at the D1 level.
And the scary thing is, if we could have Graham here right now, he'd tell you that Keaton made a lot of mistakes last year. A lot.
Yeah.
Especially that Colorado game. My three things with Keaton is pocket presence, arm strength, plus ball placement, because, you know, any quarterback can have a elite arm, but when it comes to that ball placement, that's when you separate the good from the great. And lastly, his IQ. His IQ for a freshman was off the charts, especially when you look at some of the throws he was making. Actually, that Arizona State throw is my favorite, but like if I had like a 1B, it'd be that throw against Stanford where it basically was like an air hole shot. He threw it right behind the DB's ear.
Yeah, the back shoulder.
Yeah, the back shoulder. I think it was to Michael Pittman or was it to Drake London? It was one of those, but that throw was out of his world too. Even though they had to highlight that in the chat, that was like, oh, we got something special. So I just want to give a big shout out to Kurt Warner. Thank you for training Keaton like he did. And he's a Trojan, and he's going to lead us to some big things.
What do y'all want to see him improve on?
Like you said in the chat, get rid of the ball faster. It was a lot of throws where he held on to it too long with the nose. 3 or 4 throws led to his injury, especially that injury versus Iowa against Expensive, because he had a good amount of time. He had Keenan was open in the flat, and he could have hit the post to, I think it was Amon-Ra or Tyler. It was on this side of the strong side of the field. So just my only knock is him holding on to the ball too long, always hitting on the big play, but with experience, he'll learn and take with the defense. So I expect a lot of, if it's not 1-2 is not open or it's taking a little more time, get that ball out of there because we need you healthy. That's the only knock.
Yeah. Jose, you have any improvements you want to see?
I mean, that's it there. The way he moves around in the pocket as well, which is a little reckless at times. Like, it's needed with some of the pass protection he was getting, but I don't want to see him get ear-holed by a D lineman as he's spinning out of pursuit. It's just a recipe for disaster with the depth we have at QB. Yeah. So, a little more cautious in the pocket with his movement there. Like, hey, move side to side, so on and so forth. But one of these days he's going to get popped. I mean, he already did in Iowa amongst a few other games, to where he's going to lose the ball and just bad things happen from there.
I agree, man. Yeah. I don't know if you remember when they did the post-game or after practice interviews after Oregon, they talked to Graham. And, us as fans, we thought that scramble he did where he threw the touchdown against Oregon was amazing. And Graham said, he told him in practice, don't ever do that again.
Yeah, ever. That play could have ended horribly for Keaton.
He's got to learn to slide more than anything else.
Say that.
Get the hell down, man. That UCLA game just – when you got the UCLA game, it's like, are you freaking kidding me? He's like, don't make us go to that thing, man. Come on.
Well, none of our
Yeah.
quarterbacks seem to know how to slide for some reason.
Dude, since Carson, none of our quarterbacks know how to slide. It's
Nah.
crazy.
Darnold was horrible.
Sam was okay. Sam was okay with it. But he was a gunslinger. He threw the ball. He just let it go. I think there are times I would, instead of, we talk about him moving in the pocket so much, there are times I think he could take off and get 5-10 yards without any problem and get out of bounds, as opposed to just keep holding, because only, you hold it too long, bad things happen, so get rid of it or take off. And I think he's got enough athleticism to be able to get a good 5-10 yards, and make a positive play.
I agree.
Yeah, 'cause I went back and rewatched that Iowa game. I didn't want to. That play with a stencil could have ended very, very bad. He got really lucky on that.
Yeah, I think for me, and I know we've discussed this. We're in the admin group, or just texting each other. But for me, I think one of the things is utilizing that check down to the running back. So it seems like it's always open, and he scans the field very, very well. But I think as Irvin said, like, he'll hold on to the ball when, as soon as you're done scanning, if he were to look to the check down at the running back, it's open every time. I would say 9 out of 10 times it's open. Yeah, it gives the opportunity for another athlete to make some plays. So that would be for me. Second would be taking ownership of the offense. And maybe Mark, you can elaborate a little bit more on this, but I don't know how Graham Harrell has it set up, but I'd like to see him at this next level in year 2 with the success he had last year, was to be able to come up to the line of scrimmage and make a call, call an audible on something that he sees from the position that he's at, and say, you know what, this play is not probably going to be good. Let's shift down to something different and make that call on his own. Take ownership of the offense.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing I see when I watch Keaton is he is very, very strict in following his progressions. I can easily tell what was 1 to 2 to 3. There was a few occasions where I seen him go all the way to read 5, and read 5 happened to be the running back. Sometimes as a play caller, to control the defense, you have to switch up who is read 1s through 5. You have to sometimes make running back 1 or 2, so that ball gets out there quick, because by the time you've already looked at 4 receivers and then you want to throw to the back, that outside linebacker is already out to the flats. And now it's a 2-yard gain. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Right.
Another thing you talk about taking ownership over the offense. He's got to read blitzes. He's got to be that general. He's got to say, hey, that safety's creeping down on the right side. I got a hot route. I'm going to throw that stick to Amon-Ra hot. He missed those a good amount of times. So, and that just comes with experience. We all know that. At the college level, we know that, where he came from in Arizona, that wasn't elite ball, So I think with 10, 11 games under his belt, I think he'll be much better. His eyes will be 10 times better coming in. And he's getting thrown right into the fire, too, against Bama. Saban's not going to play around on D.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, let's remember one thing, too, though, is during spring ball, or not spring, during the fall camp last year leading up to the first game, he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy getting all the snaps. I think JT got most of the snaps, right?
Yes.
So all of that changes this year. This year, he's probably going to get, 67% of the snaps, I would assume, at least. Yeah. So that'll increase his knowledge. It increases his, grasp of the offense. And I think all that changes. It's also a matter of whether or not Graham Harrell or Clay Helton or whoever makes the call, do they trust him to take ownership and be able to call an audible at the line? That's the other question. Do they allow it? I'm not so sure they allowed him to do that last year.
No.
That's just me. That's just me thinking. I don't think they would have. So, but all that changes. I would assume all that changes this year.
Yes, Keaton's world now. We're all just living in. We want to talk about our recruits, our potential. Well, we have one to be committed at the moment, which is a 5-star, in my opinion, which is Jake Garcia. He was at Narbonne and he transferred to
La Habra or La Mirada, one or the other.
One of those. So he's currently in tow. Hopefully we can hold on to him, but it is pretty glaring. USC has taken 2 quarterbacks this class. The second one is looking to be Miller Moss, and I know we have a couple other guys that are looking at, but Miller Moss is down to us to UCLA, so he's not losing over battles to them. So I would just basically say he's going to be our second QB in this class. And watching his tape, it looks pretty good. He's very accurate. He's not like a doesn't have a super strong arm, but he can definitely get the job done. I think Jake is a little more adverse when it comes to throwing the ball downfield, but he's no slouch at all. So hopefully they can lock in those two. But they're also looking at another 5-star out of Texas. I can't think of his name, but I know they want him just because he has a mullet. So a mullet QB at USC would be a sight to see. So hopefully nail down at least 2 good quarterbacks in this class.
Yeah, I think the Texas kid is 2022 though, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's got some time, but I haven't had a chance to really watch Jake's film at Narbonne. The thing that I always question is how good is that quarterback that's leading that high-powered team, those ranked teams. Like, you can look at a school like Mater Dei where JT was at, and you have a plethora of D1 athletes surrounding you. So it's going to be easy to make a throw to those guys, and they're going to make 60, 70, 80-yard play, and it's going to pad up your stats. Narbonne's, I think, is one of those schools too where they're always full of D1 athletes, and they're going to win and they're going to be good. But I like to dive into some more film for Jake and see his mechanics and see his reads and see his throws and see what he's about. And I don't have that information on him right now.
Well, I think the other question about Jake Garcia is we're talking about he's going into his 3rd offense and 3rd school in 3 years, right? So, we always want to see consistency with one type of offense, one school, because that's where you kind of build your resume. So it's kind of going to be kind of hard to see what he can really do if he's jumping around as much. It's not his fault necessarily because of stuff going on down at Narbonne, but it does happen, and it's gonna new receivers, new everything. So how is he going to do this year? Is a big question.
What I like about him right off the bat, it'll be something that we haven't really had in a long time, and Jake Garcia would give us the ability to run reads, RPOs. Jake Garcia he'd be a run threat. That's not really typical at USC, but that would change the dynamic of the air raid tremendously. And obviously we're not talking anything crazy, but like Baker Mayfield, what Baker Mayfield was at Oklahoma as far as a run threat, it was tremendous. So I like that part of him. He also can, keep his eyes downfield and make throws on the run. I wouldn't say he has an elite arm, but he's accurate, better than most. Me personally, between him and Miller Moss, I would say he'd be right now over Miller Moss for me.
Strictly because of his mobility?
Yeah, all around.
So we have a question from our page. It's defense actually this time, but Francisco Gonzalez asked, can we recruit another Taylor Mays from Washington State? And my answer, and then you guys can answer as well, my answer to that is we have 2 guys committed for the class of 2021, one being Anthony Beavers Jr., who's 6'2", 195 right now, who's probably going to be about 6'3", 210, 215 by the time he comes to SC, and then he'll probably add some more weight roaming the secondary. And then we have Examarian Gordon, 6'2", 190, who's also committed to play safety at USC in 2021. So we do have those big style safeties similar to Taylor Mays. Now we just need to see if they can be impact players and make plays the way that Taylor Mays did on the field.
Yeah, Kalen Bullock, that kid is going to be nice.
Yeah, Kalen Bullock, another guy.
I don't like there are some guys that me personally I like to call them aliens. I don't really like to compare kids to aliens. Taylor Mays, 6'2", 235, ran a 4.340, and he was a heat-seeking missile. Had a mentality that he was trying to kill anything in sight. I don't really want to compare anybody like that. That dude's different.
We had a lot of targeting calls that was around back then.
Yeah.
A lot of friendly fire as well with the teammates in the area.
Yeah, like the Penn State Rose Bowl. He took out the Penn State receiver, and he took out his own teammate.
He almost killed Terrell Thomas. I think that was Terrell Thomas. He almost killed him.
Taylor Mays is a once a decade guy. 6'2", 235 is once a decade.
Yeah, especially with that 4.3 speed, man. That's ridiculous. What do you think? What do you guys think about Matt Fink coming back to be the backup? I mean, I feel like he's been there forever now, and if we need him again, what's your guys' confidence level with Matt Fink?
I'll leave with Matt Fink. Matt Fink is a decent, above average QB. It's just sometimes his accuracy is just so hit or miss that it just takes you out of games. If you watch Washington throws, and I'm like, how did you not see that? And then one of them was just underthrown, and the DB made a good play, but those two of those picks were just not necessary at all. So I'm not going to go too much on him. But I think in spurts, you see what he did against Utah, even though he was throwing to Michael Pittman, and Michael Pittman made a lot of those plays. But he's a mobile guy, so he adds that running aspect to the team, so he brings something different. But as far as his pocket effectiveness, he definitely has to work on that.
I think my confidence in him is better if he comes in during the game and they're not prepared for him, like it was against Utah. But you give him a week to prepare, like he did against Washington, then my confidence level goes down a lot, because that Washington game was very, very winnable, and we win that game.
Yeah, that was
no doubt about it in my mind. So
easily,
that's about all I can really say about that.
Yeah, just as he gets older, he's been in college for 5 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least.
As he gets older, he gets stronger. I'd like to see more arm strength from him. When he throws his comebacks, they don't make it there. On his comeback routes, on his out routes,
they float.
Yeah. So that just comes down to mechanics. That just comes down to the snap of the arm and your release. So those are things that 5 years into it, he should be coming along with. I think as a leader, he has that down pat, and I think the system, which only has an index card worth of plays, he'll have that down. It's just executing. But again, I wouldn't want that to happen.
Just give him a third of the field like we had with Sears.
Next year against ASU.
Sears, the savior of USC football.
You know it. Now he'll be the savior at Boise State.
Exactly.
That's if he plays, because that kid from Boise State can play.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to beat him out.
He went down to FSU and beat them his first start on the road. So it shows you a lot right there.
He was a true freshman, right?
He was, yeah.
Not the same FSU though, so.
Yeah,
still athletes.
They have more athletes than Boise State.
Yeah, by far.
Well, I mean, Florida State with Willie Taggart wasn't very great, so maybe it is about the same thing. Right about now. So.
Well, I heard they're doing some good things down there. So hopefully, shout out to my boy Michael Gibson to the FSU fan. Hopefully they bounce back.
I hope so, because